I rise today to, as vociferously as I have opposed any piece of legislation or resolution in this House, to oppose this one. I am someone who believes that we must keep our commitments to our public workers. I'm someone who defends teachers on a regular basis. I will say it again here loudly. I don't believe teachers are overpaid or underworked. I think they are, if anything, maybe slightly underpaid and overworked. I have teachers in my family. I have cops in my family. But this piece of legislation is one of the most ill-advised, I think, that we have ever faced. If this piece of legislation had been in effect, again, had this constitutional amendment been in effect over the past just few years, we would need $3 billion additional in this year's budget alone. I won't embarrass anyone by asking, have they done the math about where they would find that money? The reasons why the 2011 reforms failed is because we didn't go far enough with reforms, and we relied on overly optimistic revenue projections. This resolution, this constitutional amendment, makes the same mistakes, except it doubles down. It relies on overly optimistic revenue projections, and not only does it not tie itself to reforms so we could save money so we can afford to make these payments, it essentially precludes reforms. Negotiations. Within negotiations, premature capitulation is not a winning negotiation strategy. I don't care whether you're bargaining over a rug in an open-air market in Mumbai or over a billion-dollar building in New York City. If you give the other side everything it wants, shame on you for expecting negotiations to continue afterwards. Again, this level of opposition is coming from someone who has proposed his own constitutional amendment to force us to make payments. But it's also tied to reforms that will help us be able to make those payments. Those reforms are essential. I start with health benefit reforms. We need to go from there. We need to negotiate with our public workers and come up with something that works for everyone. And we need not be draconian. We need not crush anyone. Public workers should not fear. Taxpayers should not fear being crushed. But without taking those steps, we set ourselves up for failure. We have representative government for a reason. The public should be able to expect us to not pass bills out of this House, out of this legislature, or resolutions putting constitutional amendments on the ballot that are irresponsible or set us up for dramatic fiscal failure. The legislature's tacit endorsement of this ballot initiative is not just reckless. With all due respect, it is spectacularly so. I think the Speaker's heart is in the right place. I want to work with you so we can make these guarantees, so we can continue to meet our commitments to our public workers. But by enshrining these obligations rigidly in the Constitution, with no safety valve, no reforms to help cover the costs, and virtually decimating our liquidity, it will destroy, the ratings agencies will have a field day. We all lament when we have reduced credit ratings. Just about everything in this bill is likely to lead to further credit reductions. For all of these reasons, I believe that this action that we take today, and hopefully the Senate will not follow, I believe that this could be the single most ill-advised and destructive actions this body has maybe ever taken in its history. I believe it's that dangerous. And that's why I encourage every member of this House to join me in voting no and moving forward in discussions so we can both meet our commitments and genuinely have a way to do so. Thank you, Madam Speaker.